Hello everyone, welcome to another series of Learning Excel. In this example, we'll be going through essential formatting techniques that are useful in your day-to-day use of Excel. So example of some formats we're going to see is adjusting fonts, colors, borders, alignment. So I have a simple spreadsheet here that I'm going to use for my examples. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is adjusting column width and row. So here, as we can see, we can't read the text properly. So for example, human resource and public relations. And as we can see on the row, it's not aligned. So on row 2 and row 11, we have a mismatch of alignment. Okay, so the first thing we do is between A and B. So we put our cursor between A and B and double click, and that kind of spaces it out to be able to read all the names. We do the same for department. So if you want to do multiple at the same time, just do a full selection of the areas you want and then double click between one of the cells, and that aligns it for us. Okay, so looking at rows now, again, if we want all our rows to be exactly equal, there are two ways to do it. So we select, if there are multiple we want to adjust, we select multiple and then double click between one of the rows, and then it adjusts all of them. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is font size and styles. We can see the header can stand out, but we need to make it to stand out even more. So the first thing we do is we select a particular row where the header is, and then let's make it a bit bigger. So let's make it 14, stood out. If that's too big, we can go lower. So you can even type in 13 in here and enter, and that makes it more bold. If it's not bold, all you need to do is select that area, click B. In our case, B is already clicked, which is bold. But you can see it makes a difference if the bold function is turned on. So it's very important for the header to stand out. So it's important to format your header. This make it easier to distinguish between the column titles from the data itself. So by first looking at this, we know that these are the headers, so these stand out compared to the main data itself. The next format I want to go through is number formatting. So we can see here that it's just numbers basically. So we want to make this stand out. So in this case, I want to change this to pounds. You can also change it to dollar as well, or whatever currency I see fit. So the easiest way to do it is drop down here, and we have the most commonly used currencies. So in this case, I'm going to go for the pounds. So as we can see, when I put the pounds, that space is a bit too small. So again, we can format this by double clicking between D and E, and that space it, or we can just drag and drop to make more space. Okay, so it's put the decimal place for us. You can also reduce or increase the decimal place. So in this instance, I want 1 decimal place. So I'm just going to click here, and that has reduced it to 1 decimal place. If you want 2 or 3 decimal places, you can also click here as well. Another way to do it, so this is just the quickest way to do it. But another way to do it is if you select the areas you want to format, right click, format cells. So select format cells, and then you can change it to whatever, if it's numbers or dates or just general formatting you want. But in this case, we want accounting, which is set for us already. So this is another way to do this function. So it's very important for me to call out that when you format your data in like currencies or any other symbols you want to put, this helps make data more readable and professional. It stands out from any other data that it's not formatted. Okay, so we're going to look at adding borders now. Borders will make your data more readable. Again, it's a choice aspect. So I'm going to select all my data. Another way you could select your data is by clicking this top area here, and that selects your whole worksheet. But in this scenario, I just want to format around my data only. So what I've done now is I've selected all my data, And then I'm going to click on the border drop down, and I'll select all borders. And as you can see, that kind of splits, especially the figures, it splits it to a clean readable view. Another thing we could do is put tick borders around the headers. So I've just selected all my headers, and I've just click on my drop down, and then I can click tick box border. So basically that has kind of separated my header from the rest of my data. But I could even go further and put borders at the edge. So I've selected all my data, tick borders, and that has kind of segmented it from the rest of my workbook. So it's also important to mention that borders help in visually organizing data and making the table easier to read and navigate. The next formatting we're going to look at is cell alignment. So we want to align the cells to improve readability. So the first thing we do here is let's select all our data and align it to the middle of each of the cells. So I'm just going to click alignment here, middle and alignment. So I've just clicked that there, and that you can see all the data is now moved to the middle. So now I'm going to select just the names and the department, and then I will align it to the left. So I will just click left. Okay, now I'm going to select the name, department, and position and align the data to the left. So I'm just going to select all that and then align to the left. So we can see that it's moved to the left. Okay, so our data looks so much better. So I'm just going to put that out. It's important for our data to be consistently aligned, especially when working with financial data or names. This makes it really easy, readable, and is just easier on the eyes. Okay, let's look at conditional formatting first. So this column is the sales each employee have made, and this column here is the target if they've met their target. So here I've set a target of 80,000. So first of all, if we want to know if they've met the target, so we'll say equal to if. So the logical test is just sales is greater than or equal to the target sales. What we want to do is we want it to return as yes. So we click yes in inverted commas, and if they don't meet their target, we want it to return no. So we do the same and click no, and then we click enter, close bracket and enter. So we can see from the first answer, it's a no, they've not met their target. So if we drag and drop, we're gonna have the same answers for all of them. So here, and okay, so when we drag and drop, we can see it's not giving us the right value, because as we go down, the target sales, which is cell D24, keeps going incrementally. That means target cell is pointing to other places. So what we want to do so that Excel can point to this cell D24, even though when it auto fills, so we want to put the $sign in front of 24, in front of D, and then in front of 24 as well, and then click enter. So you see the difference. So if we drag that down, autofill is more accurate. So if we want to know this, let's put our filters on just to do a spot check. And if we say no, everything should return as under 80,000 pounds. And if we say yes, everything should return as above 80 or equal to 80,000. And yeah, so okay, so to go further with conditional formatting, all we do is we select every column. Sorry, we select met target cells, and then we go to home. Home, conditional formatting, cells equal to. So we want to say yes. Sorry, we want to say no. Let's go no. And what we want to do is anything no should be red. If we do the same, so we select it, highlight cells equal to, and we want it to be yes in this instance, and we want it to, we also want it to return green. And there we have it as yes or no in color coding formatting. So conditional formatting is very important because it visually emphasizes the important data like performance metrics. So in this instance, we can easily tell that it's more or less a 50-50. In other instance, we can tell if it's more of a yes or more of a no people that have met their target. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at is merging cells for a title. So in this example, we want to give it a title so that when someone looks at first view, they know what this document is. So we select the first row, right click and insert. So the what we do is, let's give it a title, employee sales performance reports. Click enter. So again, we want to format this title here so it looks a bit neater. So first thing we do is let's merge the cells together. So we select all the cells we want, and then here we have drop down. So merge and center. So basically merge those cells together and put our text at the middle, or it merges across, or there are different options, or you can choose some merges after you've merged it. In this particular instance, we want to merge and our text to be at the center. So I click merge and center here. So you can see it's all coming to one, but let's make it a bit more standout. So in terms of the text size, let's choose 14 and let's choose bold. Let's bold it. Let's make it a bit bigger. So let's go maybe 16. So yeah, that looks more stood out. We can also color code it to any color you want. So you can use like a branding color of your company or whatever color you like. So here I'm going to choose, let's go purple. Let's go orange. So I'll put that as orange. So orange kind of makes it stand out and it doesn't interfere with the colors that already exist. So again, I'm just going to put borders around that so it stands out from the rest of our data. Putting our title at the center and merging the cell just gives the sheet a cleaner and more professional look. At first view, you can see that we can tell what this document is, and it just basically stands out really. Okay, so something else to make our document or our spreadsheet more visually organized is, let's put more color coding. So in the second row here where we have our headers, so let's make that a bit stand out. So I'm just going to give that like a more lighter color. You can put whatever color you want, it's up to you. But I'll just, for an example or for teaching purpose, I'm just going to put that color there. Or you can also choose so I'm just going to give it that color. And then here where we have the total, I always like putting like a gray color, so like a quite light gray. So this can have our total. So I'm just going to put Command Shift T, and that calculates the total number of sales here. So this basically is our total. I'm going to make that bold, and that stands out from the other data from the spreadsheet. Color coding will also distinguish between different, like if you have a large spreadsheet with a lot of data, a large data sheet, it kind of segments, the color coding helps segment different areas so people can at first view have a look, their eyes go to something that stands out or they're more interested in viewing. Okay, so let's look at a quick one, freezing our pants. Top two columns. So in this instance, I want to freeze. So I want name, department, and etc. Everything on this row to be visually visible when I scroll my data. So all I do is select that particular column that I want to stay. Sorry, the one underneath after the one I want to stay. And then we go to view and then freeze pans. And what it does is it freezes the top two rows on that, basically any row over where I've clicked. So here in this instance, the employee sales report row and the headers as well. So it's very important when you're working with large data sets that you able to freeze the top one, so that as you navigate left and right on your spreadsheet, that first column you're interested in remains. Okay, so let's look at wrapping text. So basically, wrapping text helps us visualize. And in some cases, if you have a large data set and you want all your data set to be in one view, it's very beneficial to wrap your text. So I'll use this as an example. So met data target. So basically, this is quite long. And if we want to wrap that text and condense our columns, so what we do is, or in this instance, what I'll do is I'll select that. Actually, I'll select this whole header and go to home, wrap text. So there's a drop down there, so you can wrap text so that when you move your column across, it wraps your text. So you can also pull your row so that it's more visible. So I'm just gonna pull that down so you can see it makes that particular header visible. So this is another way of making sure all your data set is in one view. So it text on a page or a data set on a page. So that helps in that instance. So once you've applied all these formatting techniques that we've gone through today, your data set will be much more clean, readable, and visually appealing. So if you have a large data set that doesn't look great and you want to impress your boss or you want to present it to external stakeholders, this is a good way to at least make it more visually appealing. If you like, thank you for watching. And if you like what I've gone through today, you want to learn anything else, please, or have any questions, please leave a comment on this underneath this video and I'll try and respond to all of them. Thank you. Have a great day.